Ok, va bene. Sig. Borland, nella sua testimonianza, lei racconta di aver visto grandi velivoli triangolari mentre era a distanza alla base aeronautica di Langley nel 2012. Può spiegare cosa ha osservato in termini di comportamento dimensionale e perché è sicuro che non si trattasse di tecnologia convenzionale?
Ottima domanda, signora. Dunque, nella caserma della base, vivevo nella caserma. C'era una piccola fossa di fumo fuori. Ero lì, al telefono, e guardando verso la linea di volo ho visto una luce bianca apparire e fermarsi a circa 100 piedi di altezza. Ho pensato che fosse un pallone meteorologico. Avevo già visto dei test da lì. Notte debole. Sa, una cosa normale, non sorprende. In realtà ho finito la mia sigaretta e ho iniziato a camminare verso la linea di volo. C'è una pista e, poiché lavoravo di notte da 3 mesi, ho iniziato a camminare sulla pista di notte quando eravamo in cattive condizioni atmosferiche, e mentre iniziavo a camminare verso la luce, verso la linea di volo nella pista, la luce poi volava attraverso la base, attraverso la linea di volo, e mentre vola verso di me, attorno alla luce si manifesta un triangolo. Non so dirti se si tratti di un camuffamento attivo, non so dirti se è apparso attorno alla luce, ma posso dirti che era una luce bianca e poi un triangolo. Si è fermato a circa 30 metri davanti a me e circa 30 metri sopra di me. Il mio telefono si è surriscaldato moltissimo. Si è completamente congelato. Ricordo quanto fosse spesso. Era spesso 1 o 2 piani, un triangolo equilatero. Non riuscivo mai a vederne la cima, e i bordi erano a 90 gradi 90 gradi. C'erano 4 luci in totale. Una luce su ogni angolo e una luce più grande al centro, 2 o 3 volte le dimensioni delle luci degli angoli. Ma ciò che era davvero strano era l'esterno. Il modo migliore per descriverlo è come guardare un'immagine del telescopio James Webb in cui hai i colori e poi lo sfondo nero. Quindi il velivolo stesso era questa vernice nera a scaglie metalliche, ma sopra il velivolo c'era questo plasma di lava dorata, una specie di fluido che lo attraversava e lo circondava. Sono rimasto lì per circa 2 o 3 minuti. Poi la luce centrale lampeggia 2 o 3 volte. Nessun suono. Immediatamente sale al livello minimo di un jet commerciale, secondo me. E sento immediatamente elettricità statica su tutto il corpo e poi sento l'odore di un temporale o di una tempesta di fulmini. Quell'odore molto forte di un temporale estivo arriva fino al livello di volo. Sto cercando di resettare il mio telefono e riesco a vedere solo la luce centrale in questo momento. Se non l'avessi vista decollare, avrei pensato che fosse una stella. E poi si libra lì e inizia a muoversi lentamente verso est sopra l'Oceano Atlantico. Alla fine sono riuscito a resettare il mio telefono. L'intera cosa è durata circa 15 minuti dal momento in cui ho visto la luce apparire vicino all'hangar fino a quando è decollata sopra l'oceano.
Nusatelli.
And sorry, I know I'm running out of time, Madam Chairwoman. So, obviously your incident happened well before we could record things on cell phones and things of that nature, right? What did you do when you first experienced? Because what you saw, right, you saw it happen like right out of your base.
Correct.
So tell me what you did after you saw that. What was like your next move? And I want to hear what your experience was.
My next move, I went into my house after it left. I made sure no one had been abducted, and I picked up the landline. I called the Security Forces Command Center. I reported it. I requested that they give me a call back and make notifications up the chain of command. I got a call back in about 15 minutes. They reported that the weather station reported no balloons or aircraft, nothing on radar, no aircraft inbound or outbound. So I got that notification. And then within the following day or two, me and the other witnesses wrote statements. We prepared a report, and then we filed all that information.
Madam Chairman, thank you for your indulgence in my questioning, and thank you for continuing to lead on this subject. What do you and your friends think about it today? You all have talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you think about your experience as a collective group? That'll be my last question, Madam Chairwoman.
I mean, we've been talking about this for 20 years. We don't know what we saw. What we saw changed our lives and the way we think about everything. It was incredibly profound. The object I saw, I don't even know if it was an object. It was a light. It was an orb. It didn't look like a craft, but it did look solid. And that's what we talk about. We noticed the object, and this was a pattern across all the encounters. Someone would see a light. They would pay attention to the light. and then the object responds, it performs for you. And then they come down and they investigate you. So it's almost like they're curious. So that's the thing we primarily talk about. Why did it come after we noticed it? Maybe it noticed us after we noticed it. You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I want to thank all of our witnesses for being here today. Mr. Borland, I'd like to start with you and ask a few questions. Were there any other witnesses when you saw the equilateral triangle? Were there other witnesses that saw the same thing?
Not to my knowledge, ma'am. At that point, the only people that would be awake is those of us that were doing operations for the GWAT and then security forces. So not to my knowledge.
And do you think that, in your opinion, that the equilateral triangle was the U.S. government's technology?
I did once upon a time, but knowing what I know now, I'll have to answer that question in a skiff probably.
Well, my next question is, you teased us, so knowing what you know now means what?
I know enough to know that if you want an answer to that question, go to Arrow. They have the answer.
Do you think it was a foreign government?
I do not, no.
And Arrow is supposed to be disclosing. The last time I was in a skiff with Arrow, they said they were going to be doing disclosures. Had they been doing much of that?
I don't have an answer to you you. I don't know. I know what Arrow reports publicly, and I know what I've been through.
Yeah. And some of this stuff can be, I think, debunked, right? Sometimes there are weather balloons that look kind of a little funky, or drones or whatever, depending on the angle, direction, speed, etc. Are you scared for your safety?
That's a complicated question. So being here today, if I say the wrong word, technically I can be charged with espionage. Espionage is a death penalty. Whistleblowers have faced it. John Kiriakou, for example. I am not scared for my physical safety in the sense of an agency or company coming to kill me, but I have no job. My career has been tarnished. I'm unemployed, living off of unemployment for the next 3-4 weeks until that's gone. So it's a complicated question.
Have there been stories leaked about your life to try to discredit you in the public eye?
As of now, I don't know.
We know they did that to Mr. Grush.
I am aware. Yes, ma'am.
They leaked his private medical information, horrific things.
It is.
Okay, you said in your testimony earlier with the chairwoman, you know other things. I guess that has to be mentioned in a skiff.
It would.
The other things.
It would, pending I'm even legally allowed to speak on, and the people in the room are even legally allowed to hear it.
And would we need to know the compartmentalized word, like what the code word is, or the name of the program, the special access program, in order to even hear it? You have to know the word, right?
I would suggest
the name of it, right?
I would suggest that to be asked to DNI Gabbard and work with her for that, because I can't give you the answer on what is the requirement.
But this is what the U.S. government does, right? They compartmentalize the information. Only certain people know the name of the program, and if you don't know it, you can't get the information. If you don't have the name, you don't know what to ask for. Even when we're reviewing the budget, we go into a skiff, we look at DoD budget and the budget of like black box programs, and we don't know what we're looking at because we don't know what these programs are. Is it a way for the government to hide from Congress what's really going on and where the money's going?
In my opinion, absolutely yes.
Dylan, knowing you testified to Arrow, are they obfuscating when they claim to have discovered no evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology, and are they lying to the American public?
As I said before, it's a manipulation of the public perception. The statement, scientific evidence of extraterrestrials, is a true statement. It is not the truth about what is happening and what we have.
Any of y'all like to comment on that further? Mr. Knapp, you're getting edgy.
It's splitting hairs. No proof that they're extraterrestrials. What would that proof look like? A piece of kryptonite? What would it be? I mean, we could be talking about different forms of non-human intelligence. I think the dominant paradigm is that they come from outer space, somewhere else, and they have some way that they can cross those vast distances that we can't even imagine doing. But that's not necessarily the answer. So asking for proof of extraterrestrials might not be the answer at all. It's splitting hairs. We don't know where they're from. I don't know anyone who knows the answer for sure. They call them aliens just as a placekeeper kind of a word, but no one in all these programs who've studied this stuff for years, people with much bigger brains than mine, knows the answer for sure.
Yeah, I've talked to Navy folks that some of the deep sea areas, they think there might be something there that they're here, and I don't know when they got here. Another point that needs to be made is every time, we say we're going to back engineer or whatever you want to call it, these craft, I always say, like, it'd be like if you took I ride motorcycles, but if you took like an Indian or a Harley to the people that came over here on the Mayflower, they'd see a bright, shiny object. They might polish it. They might get it started. I doubt they could. They couldn't work on it. They couldn't put fuel. They wouldn't be able to have the capability of putting fuel in it. I just think that's we're scratching at something that we don't have any knowledge of, and that's why it's just taken so dadgum long. But they do know the first one that cracks that code, it's over. I mean, it's energy, it's power, it's everything. And I worry too that in the wrong hands that they do that, they keep it from the rest of us because they're so invested in whatever energy sources we have here that their billionaire buddies are going to profit, and they can't retool because they know once it's out on the internet, it's over. And so I think there's a lot of things going after it, and I think that's why the move to discredit folks is so rapid too. I think they point to them and they put the dogs on them. And it disgusts me.
There's a price to be paid for that, too. The Russians and Chinese are trying to figure this out as well, but they don't have the same kind of stigma. They tell their best scientists and engineers, get in there and work on it. And they've been doing it for a very long time, might have a head start on us. Here, we don't have our best scientists and engineers working on it because they've been told it's nonsense. The stigma is very real for people like that.
I agree. Yield back, chair lady.
Che tipo di comportamento hai visto da parte dell'ex direttore dell'AROW Sean Kilpatrick e del suo staff in relazione alle informazioni che hai fornito loro? Hanno mai provato a classificare queste informazioni come tecnologia non umana?
Bella domanda. Il problema è che so cosa ho sperimentato in prima persona e so altre cose. Penso che lo staff di ARRO che ho incontrato a marzo 2023, penso che fossero brave persone che facevano il lavoro che gli era stato detto di fare. Non ho incontrato Kirkpatrick. O non era presente o non volevano incontrarmi quel giorno. Tuttavia, hanno classificato le informazioni sulla realtà di questo argomento. Ed è stato molto preoccupante perché nel mio AROMMFR avevano effettivamente fatto riferimento a un ex membro dello staff che era stato lui a dirmi di andare lì e probabilmente non avrebbero dovuto farlo.
Ross Coulthart, all right, who live streamed the hearings for the network News Nation, and Lue Elizondo, former head of the government's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Lou, it's great to have you. Ross, as always, thank you. Ross, let me tee up what I think mattered most, and feel free to disagree with that assessment. But the idea that one of our best missiles, a Hellfire missile that usually you can't get away from, didn't work with whatever it was fired at on this one occasion. We're showing it, right? And you see the incoming ballistic, Lou. You can help me with this in terms of the jargon. And the thing seems to I thought at first when I saw it that it hit it and it just ricocheted off, end of story. But the people at the hearing were saying, no, that's not what you're seeing. So I want your guys' perspective. What am I missing in this and why does it matter, Ross?
It matters. G'day, Chris. It matters because that is a Hellfire missile, one of the top missiles in the US military arsenal for combating, surface to air to air. And it frankly didn't make a jot of difference to whatever that object is. And that's significant because what it shows is there is a technology that is unhindered by whatever it is that the US is trying to use against it. This is significant. This is obviously something that I think in the past the United States military, the intelligence community have tried to keep from public knowledge. Is this the reason why they don't want us to know about the UAP mystery? I'd love to know Lue's perspective on this, but frankly, I think this was a turning point in congressional awareness on UAPs. And I think all told, the hearing was significant because Congress has got its mojo back. And this video is a signal of their intention to take the defence and intelligence community on for their unwillingness to engage the public on this mystery.
Lue, in proper context of the informed skepticism on this, it's no. This happens. It's like when somebody gets shot in the head sometimes, the right angle, the right caliber, it can bounce off instead of blowing right through you. This is the same thing. Because of the angle and the speed, it was a glancing blow. You saw some of the stuff came off, and that's all this is. There's nothing special about it other than that.
Well, first of all, I disagree with that perspective. The Hellfire missile is certainly one of the most sophisticated, most capable types of air missiles that we have. We use it to prosecute the global war on terror, in the vernacular, if you will, warheads on foreheads, with such a degree of precision that we can literally fly it through a window and take out a bunch of terrorists. What you are seeing here is basically some sort of technology that is making our premier missile system completely and utterly useless, if you will. It is making it almost irrelevant. So imagine, for example, let's take away the word UAP and just say this was some sort of adversarial technology, UAP technology from Russia. How do you think that would bode well for the Department of Defense and our national security, knowing that Russia has a capability that completely makes all our missiles completely ineffective? This is a significant problem from a strategic perspective, from a tactical perspective, from a national security perspective. This video is extremely compelling, and I wish more of these types of videos would be released, because when I was in ATIP at the time, we had all sorts of videos available to us that frankly would probably knock your socks off. And this is why I'm so happy to see Congress doing what they're doing, especially under the leadership right now of Rep. Luna and her colleagues on the task force. America has a problem right now. Let's face it. The name of this task force is Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency and Whistleblower Protection. This was the title of the hearing for the task force that Luna led. That means we already have a problem. If you have to restore public trust, that means you are already at a disadvantage. You're at a point where,
you lost it.
Yeah.